But of course, a good place to start would be the whole question of what is a mastermind. And the idea of a mastermind group comes from Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich, which gets talked about quite a bit in the internet business, internet marketing, entrepreneurial type circles, because it's got, it's full of a lot of great principles. But this is probably one of the most impactful for me out of the whole book, is the idea of a mastermind. And here's actually a quote from the book. He says, "The coordination of knowledge and effort of two or more people who work towards a definite purpose in the spirit of harmony." That's kind of his definition of a mastermind. And he says, "No two minds ever come together without thereby creating a third invisible, intangible force, which may be likened to a third mind." So it's the whole, the sum is greater, or the whole is greater than the sum of the parts type, cliche there that definitely applies to this type of a situation. So we're talking about a group of like-minded people coming together for the benefit of everybody, and to kind of pool their experience, their ideas for the benefit of everybody. And by coming together, you all end up benefiting more than whatever it is that you have to put into this effort of being in a mastermind. So let's talk about the benefits then. We've jotted down several here that have come to our minds. And number one would be that your income is directly affected by the type of people that you hang out with, and even the income of the people that you hang out with. Now, we're not necessarily condoning snobbery or anything like that, but there is absolutely, when it comes to the way you think, the way you act, the types of things you aspire for, are going to be affected by the people that you hang out with. So if you aspire to be a successful entrepreneur with a certain income level, you should make sure that on a regular basis you hang out with those types of people and discuss with them and are motivated by and have an exchange with those types of people. One of the second benefits is that there's an accountability and encouragement that comes along with being a part of a mastermind. Of course, as an entrepreneur, often we're solopreneurs, meaning working at home alone, maybe, sitting in front of your laptop doing your stuff. And, we both try to get out and do our walks or work at a cafe every once in a while, all these different things in order not to feel completely isolated in our lifestyle. But, it's nice to not have to work by yourself all the time, to actually have people that you can interact with for the sake of having some accountability. They help hold you accountable to your goals and also encourage you in what you're trying to accomplish. And of course, that's something that comes from being in an office setting with coworkers and things like that. And then all of a sudden, when you're working on your own, you have to actually kind of form that group for yourself. It's not naturally surrounding you. Number three is you get to pool your experience, and everyone benefits from everyone's experience put together and moves together faster, because if one of you hits a brick wall, there's a likelihood that somebody else in the group knows how to get past, or has some definite specific ideas of how to get past a certain hang up or potential pitfall that one person in the group may be having. So there's an accelerated progress that goes along with that.
Yeah, the one thing I would say about this especially is in the mastermind groups I've done, it's so great because people have the different experience. So I'll know how to do, let's say, membership sites and this and that, and I'm having a problem with something that's completely unrelated that I've never taken the time to learn, and another guy in the group is like, "Oh, that's what I do every single day," and can go, "Here's the 10 things to do right now," and then I can exchange, "Oh, well, have you thought of turning this particular product into a membership site or whatever?" And then we talk about that. And it's such an interesting thing, because the whole idea of pooling your experience, then I don't have to go out and spend however much time he spent learning to become really good at whatever he does. He can just tell me the Cliff Note version of the last 5 months of knowledge that he's gone out and seeked out and gotten, and just give me exactly what to do right now, or the fast way to do it. Or a lot of times in my groups, some of the things they're missing is social media. So we'll talk about podcasting and talk about different things that they can do right now with the social media stuff. And then one guy, he knows how to do banner ads. So he'll go, "Here's how you do banner ads. It's really simple. Don't do this. Everybody teaches to do this, but don't do that. Do this instead." And those are things that, pooling your experience and knowledge, just sitting home alone, or even with business partners, like we have each other Jay and I have each other to bounce things off of. But again, we still only have so much time in the day. You add 8 more members that are all doing completely different things. And, now you've got the whole 2 minds become a third intangible. Now you've got 25 minds just with these 8.
Yeah.
Or whatever, it just keeps getting bigger and bigger like that. I love it.
Absolutely.
Can you tell?
Are you excited? Can you feel it? Well, and when you get all those minds together, obviously great insights are going to come up, throughout an hour meeting of discussing with those kinds of people. And if there's one thing I've learned in my time, well, there's, hopefully many things I've learned, but definitely one thing I've learned in my time as an entrepreneur is that often it can be one key insight that can just completely change things for you, completely take things to the next level, double your income or whatever the case may be. So when you're meeting regularly with that kind of mind share, mind trust, sometimes people call it, the likelihood of coming across that one key insight that you need for the next big leap just increases exponentially in that kind of a situation. The fifth benefit is that you need objective input to protect yourself from your blinders, because we all have them. We all have our blinders. We all have our weaknesses, those things that we don't see, maybe just a bit of reality about ourselves or about our business that we're blinded to because we're too close to it. Maybe we're too emotionally invested in it. And this is something I learned, and I believe I've mentioned this on the show before. This is something I learned the value of when I was in a rock band with people, and we were writing music together, and then we go to the studio to record the music. And for the first, few years of being a songwriter and recording artist, I always felt like I had to be an island, had to be the solo artist, and everything just came out of me, and I was able to write all the perfect songs by myself and then go and finally tune them perfectly on my own in the studio. And, when I finally figured out that there's always these blinders I'm going to have about my music and my art, and as soon as I bring an external force, a producer in, there's a reason why a producer separate from a band comes into the studio throughout the recording process, because the producer is that third party, more partial or impartial person that can, help pull the best out of the music, out of the art, out of the band. And, all of a sudden I made big leaps in the product and the music that was coming out on the recordings when we started involving a producer in the process. And it's exactly the same thing with your business, that we need those objective sources of input to protect us from our blinders and help us see something that we may not be recognizing. The sixth thing is that you get a boost of confidence about your ideas. I don't think there's anybody that doesn't like to, when they have an idea, to at least get, a little bit of validation from here or there, or bounce it off someone and have them go, yeah, you know what, that is a great idea. And, immediately your confidence is boosted. And now your motivation and ability to go and implement that idea is, magnified by the fact that you've just bounced it off a few people and had them go, yeah, great stuff. And then, forward you go. Seventh benefit is that it's just an incredible source of energy and motivation. I don't think there's ever been a time that I haven't, exchanged stories with entrepreneurs, or been at a conference, or, even in a mentoring type situation where I'm helping somebody out. It just gets me amped. It gets me pumped. Or when I hear somebody's success story, these are things that just motivate me. When I hear that somebody has done something and just really succeeded at it, it makes me want to go and do the same. And, so coming away, anytime I've gone to a mastermind meeting, I come from those situations just with a great increase in energy and motivation to go forward in my own business. Eighth thing is, probably pretty basic, need that a lot of us have, and that's just a bit of social interaction. It can get a little lonely sitting at home as a solopreneur working on your computer, and I think it's a little healthy to interact with human beings once in a while. So, having a reason to get out and talk to people is not such a bad thing. And so social interaction is also a benefit of that.
Well, and for the first time, I just kind of accidentally started a new mastermind group here in San Diego, because I left my mastermind group I've been with for years in Salt Lake, and I've been kind of looking at, starting another more high-end one here. And I actually got together with a SEO expert that I hang out with, and another guy that has a 5 figures a month site that he does. And we all went and played frisbee golf, which I guess they call disc golf. And yeah, definitely down here, I was like, really? There's such a thing as a course, like an 18-hole course like golf? And yes, there are. There are many actually down here. And so we all went to one, and, again, we're all internet guys, and it actually happened naturally. We're out playing disc golf, and of course it was like 4 hours or something, and we actually didn't even do the whole thing because we started getting hungry and decided to leave. But I ended up learning on the course, so now I get to play a type of golf. Like, that seems to be the place you're supposed to meet up and do all these type of interactions with business people. Well, I ended up learning a bunch of things about Twitter. I actually considered myself like really knowledgeable about how to use Twitter. And then as we were all talking about what we did on Twitter, some things came up that I had no clue about. And I'm like, oh my gosh, here we are. We're just playing. We're supposed to be out just having a social interaction. And it made me realize, we should do this every other week.